Now, indies have been on a good roll actually since, I feel like, in 2014. I think the indie whole revolution started with Shovel Knight for the 3DS. When that blew up, you know, it blew up on the PlayStation 4 too. I'm pretty sure it did better on the 3DS, but you know what I mean. That's when the gaming community sort of stopped dismissing indies as like, I'm not sure, what do they call them? They call them phone games. Sometimes they just call them, they just dismiss them. Like if it isn't AAA, it isn't, worth my time. That's how a lot of people treated indies back before 2014. I feel that's what I saw a lot of. And then in 2015, the gaming community blew up again over an indie. You might have heard of it around. It's called Undertale. It's a pretty good game actually. When I played it, I've actually grown to love the game actually, and I know it's based off of Earthbound and stuff like that. And I actually haven't played Earthbound, and I like Undertale, so you can tell that it's not really a Earthbound thing. It's not really playing off the nostalgia of Earthbound. It's just a good game in general, and the fact that the gaming community blew up over that, it's a good thing, especially because I love indies. Now, let's carry on over to 2016 with Stardew Valley. I believe that was the major one that released in December, if I'm not mistaken. Now, the game, from what I understand, has a cult following in which they really love the dev behind it, and they know how hard the dev worked on the indie game. And this is the case for like a lot of indie games. Like they always have these great stories behind them. And now we're in 2017 with A Hat in Time and Cuphead, two marvelous games that I can't stop playing. I can't stop loving these games. Like if I die in the game, I jump right back into these games, and the games, they're filled with so much personality, and I'm really enjoying the state that indies are in 2017 with games like Cuphead and A Hat in Time, because the general consensus from what I have picked up from the gaming community is 2017 would not have been as great if it weren't for these two indie games, which I wholeheartedly agree with. They're great. Play A Hat in Time if you don't know what that is. It's a great indie project. It's a great love letter to GameCube games, Dreamcast games, stuff like that. And if you don't know what Cuphead is, it's like a really cool 1930s style cartoon like Tom and Jerry. That's the immediate impression I get from it. Old school Tom and Jerry, old school Mickey Mouse, stuff like that. All these games, I can't stop gushing over these two games specifically because it's 2017 and they are the most relevant and all that good stuff. And another point is, and I touched on it a little earlier in the video, is that indie games, they are essentially the anti AAA games. There's a lot of passion behind them, whereas AAA games are like, look man, nowadays at least AAA games are like, look man, I just want your money. That's it. If you're not giving your money, I don't want to talk to you. You know what I mean? And indie games, you can rally behind them. You read these backstories. Like I've been reading the Studio HDMR story. They learned all of these old school animation styles, all the inspiration they took from these cartoons. It's great. And I know Sonic Mania technically isn't an indie since like multiple studios worked on it and stuff, and Sega actually published it, but that has a very indie backstory. Just reading about the basically the dude credited with making the game, Christian Whitehead, just reading his backstory about how much he loves Sonic and how he recreated the engine. That is incredible to me. I don't want to get into it. That's a whole nother video, but the point of this video is indie games are coming up really in a modern gaming society where we're riddled with loot boxes, and I actually touched on this in my Let's Chill, but we're riddled with loot boxes and microtransactions and stuff like that. It's great to have a little break. Like it's great to know that there are some devs, there are some publishers that are still in love with the idea of creating a video game. And man, like I said in a few videos before, it's a good time to be a gamer.